Today I'm at Pettersen and I'm going to try to, as efficiently and briefly as possible, show you my new hybrid live rig. It's hybrid because it's partially software, partially hardware, part modeling. The idea behind this was to be able to travel and do gigs, especially in Europe, to have power supplies that were universal, would work here in the States as well as work overseas, and that everything would be as compact as possible, would all fit into a backpack. Not that I'm backpacking across Europe, it's just to take onto a plane and be as efficient as possible and still get the sounds that I want to get. So, without further ado, the idea here is I'm running just 5 pedals into my pedal train mini here. One of those pedals is a gizmo designed by my buddy Jack Wright at Wright Dude Industries, which affects the volume or tone load of your guitar, which I'll get into in a minute. It'll affect oscillations. So, into the pedal board, plug into the gizmo. The gizmo gets split the gizmo goes into, right now it'll eventually be into a loop master splitter, because the loop master evidently doesn't, the passive splitter doesn't suck your tone like some other ones. Right now it's into another device that's a passive splitter, and I do notice some tone suck, so I'm using a buffer booster at the after my fuzzes, which I would do anyway because it allows me to cut through the muck when I want to still add parts. So I plug into the gizmo. The gizmo goes to the passive splitter. One of those channels goes to a tabletop, which you will see a picture of with a third camera. By the way, I'm shooting this all myself, so forgive me. I'm also a terrible editor, but I'll do the best I can. So here's the close-up of the board. One expression pedal. And that expression pedal is basically controlling the desktop units. Just 5 pedals in the gizmo. The splitter sends it out left, right. The expression pedal, as I said, goes to the desktop unit. Just this little configuration I've got here. Left channel, the right channel comes into the Catalan bred Antichthon. But the expression pedal is basically going into the EH8 step, and it gets split out of there, down to the gizmo, out through the gizmo, and back up to the count to 5 from Montreal Assembly. Memory Man is basically for looping and then affecting some things thereafter. The empty space here is for a loop master splitter switcher that the Antichthon is going to go into one side, and that'll continue through the chain. But the other side is going to be able to take this Electro Faustus reverb unit percussive reverb unit. Or I also have a Dwarfcraft Devices double thumping square snakes. I think that's what it's called. So either one of those two can go into the Loop Master when it arrives. He takes a little time to get his work done, but it's worth it. And it has, that switcher will have attenuation volume knobs. So I can set the Antichthon to do its thing and mute it when I want to, mute this whole channel when I want to, and send in either the Electrofaustus or the double thumping square snakes or any other device I want. But I'm trying to keep this small, keep it tight. This unit here on the desk doesn't take up that much room. It's a little over, I guess, about 16 inches in length and about, 8 or 10 inches in width, and it's being all held together. And the other secret weapon on the desktop is the JHS color box. Only the left channel hits that. The right channel goes completely direct into the PreSonus VSL USB box, and that goes to front of house. Here's a close-up on my computer screen. You can see here is the Echoloop software. Better shot there. Terrible editor, but I'll do the best I can. So I plug into the Gizmo. Gizmo goes to a passive splitter. Passive splitter goes to a small tabletop unit, all powered by a one spot, as is my floor pedal board mini. Why one spot? Well, the one spot will work here in the States. Also, you just put an adapter for whatever country, whether it's a Euro adapter or an English adapter, and it's gauged from 120 to 240 volts, so it won't blow up on you and won't hurt your pedals. That's why one spot, and it's cheap and easy to find anywhere. If one goes on you while you're on tour, you can get one anywhere. So the right channel gets split to the tabletop unit. We have Cattle and Bread Antichthon, the Electro-Harmonix 8-step program, a more pitch box, a more lo-fi machine, stereo memory man with Hazarai, which is only there really for looping and some other effecting, a Donner boost killer, which is just in case I want more gain. I usually keep this right channel a little lower than the left, because most of this pedal, the floorboard, goes to the left, and that's where most of my work's going to be doing. So I try to keep the right channel a little lower than the left, but in case I need to get more out of it, I can use the little Donner box I've got it at unity, the volume, and then I can just use the big knob to add more gain distortion as needed. And then finally it goes to a Montreal assembly count to 5. Now the Gizmo on the floor is as I said, sends the right channel through this. However, the through of the Gizmo is getting signal. So I have the expression pedal, as you'll see in this one shot. On the floor, I use one cheap expression pedal, a Moog expression pedal. It works fine. It's also inexpensive and easy to replace. I have 2 of them. And the expression pedal goes into the Electro-Harmonix 8-step, goes out of the 8-step into the expression CV in of the Gizmo, comes out of the CV out of the Gizmo, and it goes to the Montreal assembly count to 5, and that allows me to control the parameters of the 8-step also control parameters of the count to 5. The count to 5 also gets affected by the 8-step, or you'll hear 8 steps going with certain programs, and so it all is intertwined. And that right channel goes into the right channel of a PreSonus Audio Box VSL22. I'm only using 2 channels here, left and right, that's it. Trying to have some simplicity, but also some limitations, and try to work within those limitations. However, I found I can do just about what I want to do. So the right channel goes into the right in of this audio box. And like I said, I keep it lower. I keep it lower than the left. I also keep it direct. So here's that direct sound. Turn up the mixer. And here's if I put on the Catalan bread. Have a loop stored in the memory man. Turn on the count to 5. And I was just riding the expression pedal there. You'll hear that less than if, say, I put on the count to 5 and so I was riding the expression pedal. It's also, you can hear it's being affected by the 8-step. Brilliant. And there's an empty space here, as you'll see in one of the other shots that I'm shooting separately. That empty space is for a loop master that I ordered a few weeks ago. It's a splitter with volume control. The Antichthon will go into there. It'll be explained in the other shot. Because I have other things like the Electrofaustus Black Fly and double thumping square snakes, or anything else that I feel is not too much to carry, that I can throw in and have 2 inputs after the Antichthon. There you go. Now this is all going, as you'll see in another shot here, it's going into a tablet. It's a tablet computer. It's running Intel Core i3, but it's a tablet. It folds over, so for those of us, including myself, who don't care for having a computer on stage, the idea would be I'd be playing to the audience this way. My little laptop, my little tabletop pedals will be here, and the tablet would be right next to it. And it's got a touch screen, it folds over, it's got a touch screen, it fits here. I need 36 inches total for the little tabletop, which is not that hard to do. And I can affect the screen that way, or I've also got a little mini mouse that'll do it. And I'm running, I've done this with Cubase. I've also done it with Ableton. But I found that the PreSonus Studio One works best because it'll recognize all the third-party plugins that I'm using. And so that's the right channel. The left channel is going through the floor pedal board. Again in the gizmo, to a Fuzz Mutant, to a Monster Piece Angry Dick 2000, to a JHS buffer booster, which I need because of the tones suck, but also I would be using in case I need a little more pressure to cut through, and it's got a big knob for the little boost. It's the Prestige boost buffer. I can affect that knob with my feet very easily. Then the Eventide H9, which is easily one of my 5 favorite pedals of all times, and I know a little bit about pedals, a little too much about pedals if you ask my wife, but it's just amazing. I've got like 50 presets that I've saved and customized with the software, which is fantastic, and I control that with a disaster area MIDI switcher. And then last but not least is the tuner, so I can go from, that's just the right, turn off the, that's the left signal. I can't turn off the right. Actually, I will be able to once I have the Loop Master. I could turn it, the volume in that switcher down, so I can do that. That's what I'm waiting for. But one of the reasons I want the right to be clean most of the time is I play a lot of slide, and it gives me that extra little articulation and detail that I miss when I'm playing some fuzzes, not all, but some. By the way, sometimes I'll be using my Paul Trombetta Pathfinder signature pedal. Paul found a way to get a Tornita, a Velocitine, and a Rotobone all in one pedal. He had the foresight to put in a compression switch for when I do play slide, and it's germanium or silicon. I like both for different reasons. For the Tornita, you definitely need the germanium to get the oscillations at high gain, and lots of other things in that. I'll do a separate new video of that soon. I might take this on the road, but this is fairly irreplaceable. As you know, Paul has a well-deserved long waiting list. But that's the Pathfinder I do use in the studio with this rig, and I'm using this rig in the studio as much as anything else now because I'm just digging it. It does what I need. And then sometimes I use my heavily modded Line 6 DL4. It's got the modulation feedback, momentary feedback mod. The looper mod, you hit this switch, it goes right into looping, so you don't have to just bend down and do all that stuff. It's got the extra presets, so you get an extra preset per bank, and the expression pedal mod, you click this on and this expression pedal on the side. Yeah. So, and I do have a Euro power supply for that, but with the H9 and the looper on the Digitech RP360, which is what you're hearing now. I use the Digitech RP360 XP. I love it. I love the software. I can customize whatever sounds I want. I have 13 preset banks, but mostly I found I've been using this one because it interacts with everything better. If I'm already using other pedals, if I'm going for specific sounds or I need my whammy thing, I have other presets for that. It's nice and well balanced. I find that it does have the width I need. If modeling boxes have any problems that I've found in the past and other people talk about, it's usually the width. I find that this one has the width. I think it's highly underrated. The only thing that modelers to me don't have are the height, but because I'm doing a highly affected thing here and running it through a PA out of the PreSonus, I think it sounds pretty damn good, so I'm very happy with that. And again, it's like I said, it's going through the PreSonus software now. There's many reasons for that, part of which is, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm using third-party VST plugins. It recognizes all of them, and as did Cubase, but Cubase I wasn't able to use the Matthias Grob's Echo Loop software as easily in Cubase to get my Keith McMillan Soft Step 2. The Keith McMillan Soft Step 2 floor pad, it's about that big. I'll show it in another picture here. And it's got all the parameters of the original EDP, but even a couple of more because the software can do more than the original hardware rack version. And you can configure things of your own choosing. So that's running in the program, as is the PSP42, which is the software version of the Lexicon PCM42. Sounds great. When you buy that, you get a free plugin called Piano Verb, which is the damping of a piano, and I've got that on the right channel of this rig because I just like the way it sounds. But on the left channel, right there, you're hearing the PSP. You're hearing a little of the Piano Verb on the right channel, but on the left channel, it's a 419 millisecond delay into a PreSonus verb, a room verb that sounds really good. I also have it set up for a 4-second PSP42 inverted. I have a bunch of different presets for the PSP42. It's fabulous. But I have that earlier in the chain, and it's off right now, so I can turn it on and off as I go. I also have the echo loop, which is always on as a send, and these channels are in record. So basically what will happen is, before I start my performance, I hit record. I've got 2 channels of unaffected signal in record. Those 2 channels are sent to 2 buses that have all of this processing in the tablet hitting it, and those are in record. So I've got 4 channels recording at any one time, 2 affected and 2 unaffected, and the echo loop is on a send. I've also got a program called Electronics XLV 1.4. That's a Frippertronics plugin, and I'll demonstrate that real quick in a sec. But I also have the Augustus loop, which is a Frippertronics type delay looping software. It's all great, but you don't want to use it all the time, so I have just the quick delay and a room going in basically to start, and then I can bring these other things in by just tapping them as I go. So I'll just play a little something. Last but not least, at the end of the right channel chain, the left channel. You saw the right channel is the tabletop. The left channel is the RP360XP, hitting most of the plugins, the VST third-party plugins are on the left channel, like the Echo Loop and the PSP and whatnot. But last but not least, that comes out of the RP360 into, as you'll see in a different screenshot here, the JHS color box. So for instance, here's with the color box out of the RP360, and here's without. A little deeper, a little woofier, so I just there's people complain about the click when you turn it on, but I won't be turning it on. It'll be on all the time. So this box is fantastic. It's so many things that you can do. I also recommend, what I do is I take pictures with my phone of all my settings. So when I get to a gig, I just pull up the phone, make sure nothing got messed up in travel, and it's ready to go. So there you go. So I'll do a little thing here, and I'll start putting some things on in the VST plugins. Oh, one last thing. To run the Echo Loop program, the Echo Loop program's 32-bit. A lot of computers are 64-bit. It won't recognize the Echo Loop. It'll recognize other looping software like Mobius and whatnot, which is 64-bit. But I find that because of my familiarity with Echoplex Pro Deluxe, Digital Pro Plus, EDP, since I'm follicular challenged here. The EDP, I like to use the Echo Loop, and it was the easiest to configure with the Keith McMillan soft step. So I'll just start playing something and run through this. I'm also, at times, will use the looper on the RP360 when I got something going, and then put that into the Echoplex and clear that in case I want to stack things. You can use up to 64 Echo Loops in a session and have them all be triggered by the Keith McMillan, so on and so forth. And one last thing, the session has to be running for the Echo Loop to work. So you press record or play even if you're not recording, and you'll see the Echo Loop set. The front panel will turn on, it'll set, and then at any point you can start triggering and do whatever. So. Now we'll start bringing in some plugins. This is the 4-second Lexicon ESP 42. Now this is the electronics, Pettersen. This loop. And it's just running off of the Echo Loop, which I triggered with the Keith McMillan soft step and the plugins. So anyway, there you go. That's enough for today. I'll come back and demonstrate it more in a close-up. Also nice to control the mixer. I'll do another video at some point doing more close-up on the Echo Loop with a separate camera. That's just on the computer as I'm looping, and maybe another one on the floor, and the third one will be what little you need to see of me. But there you go. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much. If you have any questions, If you have any questions, just put them here on YouTube or email me via my website at pettersen.com. That's 2 T's, all E's in Pettersen. It's Norsk, Norwegian spelling, not Swedish, Norwegian. No S-O-N here. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.